Hi again. This is the data structure and algorithm course, Python Primer in the second slide. So I'm going to continue with the lesson. Last time we already reached the page number 12. Oh, okay. Page number 11, I guess. Yes. So we learned about the simple input using the input built-in function. And from this input built-in function, you can get the prompt and then you make the input, and after you do the input, then the value that you inserted will be the value for a variable. Okay, now there's a simple program. Okay, this simple program is about the what is the target fat burning heart rate. Okay, it's a little bit mathematical. Yeah, there's a mathematical operation in this program. So let's check. Okay, I already make this one. Yes, I already make this one for you. So first you need to input the age, enter your age in years. Okay, and then there is a calculation. It's already made by the medical something. I forgot this one. Yeah, from the medical science sport exercise. Okay, and yeah, it will be depending on the age of your the current age, and then the target that you should achieve is the target. It equals to 0.65 multiplied by the maximum heart rate based on your age. Okay, let's see. If I run this, what is your age? Let's say you're 25. Okay, your target fat burning heart rate is 120, 123. Okay, so yeah, I think it's 123 in minute. Okay, then yeah, with this kind of input and output, you can. This is a very simple program. Of course, your age is different. Okay, some of you may have 25, 20, or 21, 22. Maybe let's say if I'm 60 years old. Okay, or 60. Oh, okay, your target fat burning heart rate is 108. So when your heart rate is 108 when you're in the 60, then it is already uh, in the target. Okay. So I'm going to do the next step. So we have also some issues with files. I'm not sure what is the topic that you are going to do for your final project, but I assume that you will get some data. And when you have some data, it means you need to write the data into a file, and you need to read the file. And after you read the file, then you need to put those data into the Python. Then you need to know how you can read the file and you put the file into Python. Okay, this basic Python, I'm going to use this very simple command, which is open. Then I will use one text file, which is sample.txt, and it will open and read the file in your Python. Actually, there are many syntax, but I'm not going to give all the things here. So I just give you the very simple, which is read. Okay, you can use also the read line and etc. But that's just useful simple with read. Now I have this fp equals to open sample.txt. What is sample.txt? Okay, if you are using Jupyter Lab, you can see a lot of you can say this is the files in your folder. Okay, so if you checking this on sample.txt, okay, I already prepare one file which is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to read this file. Okay, yeah, I'm going to read this file. So I already have the sample.txt, and I'm going to read this file, and I have this R. R means read. Okay. So there is another parameter option like W and etc. But for reading, we can just use R. So I'm going to read this in the fp is the variable to get the file, and after you have the file, I would like to read. Okay. Now you can see this file content of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But you will have questions. What is backslash n? Yeah. Yes, you're correct. So if you already learned the computer programming, you will know that the backslash n means next line. Okay, so I have 2, and then it goes to the next line, and then 3, it goes to the next line, and then 4, it goes to the next line, and then 5, it goes to the next, and then 6. So with this information, I would like to loop. So I would like to go from the first element until the last element, which is 6, and I'm going to print. Okay, oops, nothing inside. Oh yeah, because I forgot to tell you, if you already read this file, it means it will already go from the first until the last one. Okay, so when you read again from the fp, there is no value. Okay, so you need to do, what you need to do is, first you need to read this one, and then you don't need to put dot read here, but just go to the for loop. So you want to know each of the element in the file, then yeah, you can get the result. Okay, so you can skip the dot read in order to check the result with the for loop. Okay. Okay, I'll leave the other syntax for you, so you can try to figure out more. Or if you need my help when you do your final project, just let me know. Okay. Exception handling. This is also another thing that you need to understand. Exceptions mean unexpected events that occur during the execution of a program. An exception might result from a logical error or an unanticipated situation. Yeah. So in Python, exception, also known as errors, are objects that are raised or thrown by code that encounters an unexpected circumstances. So we can use raise. Okay. Later, yeah, there's a word raise. So a raise error may be caught by surrounding context that handles the exception in appropriate fashion. If uncaught, an exception causes the interpreter to stop executing the program and to report an appropriate message to the console. So there are many exceptions in Python. I guess in the programming languages, in Java, C, C Sharp, and etc., they also have these exceptions. Yeah. So the exception is the base class for most error types, and after the exception, there is also another uh, subclasses like the attribute error and off file error, input output error, and etc. So depending on the type of the error, so you can check what is the error message that you want to show. Raising an exception means you want to show the error statement. Okay? So an exception is thrown by executing the raise statement with an appropriate instance of an exception class as an argument that designates the problem. So if you already know what is the error, then you need to specify the error, let's say value error. But if you still do not know what is the value error, then you can just say about the exception. Yeah. Now, for example, if function for computing a square root is sent a negative value as parameter, you know the square root. Okay, the square root, the number inside of the square root should be positive, so you cannot put negative. Then you can raise an exception with a command like this one: raise value error, x cannot be negative. Yeah. So in this case, yeah, you need to do, yeah, of course, maybe I'll give you a very example, this one. Let's say I have x equals to -1. Okay. So I can give like this one. Yeah. If x equal less than 0, then it means x is less than 0. Okay. Okay. I can say, oh, this one. Oh, why? Maybe I need to get x is, yeah, x cannot be negative. Okay. Yeah. And after you have this x cannot be negative, then let me run. Yep. Because x is negative or is less than 0, then it will be printed. This one. X cannot be negative. The value of x was -1. Okay. So the error message that you define in the parenthesis will be shown. It is the message that you already defined. But if there is no definition in this one, then yeah, it will not show like this error message. Okay. So this race is helpful when you have the exception. The other type of exception is using the try except. In Java, you can use the try catch, but in Python, we use the try except. Let's say if I have this ratio equals to x divided by y, and there is an exception that 0 division errors. So I don't want to divide the number with 0. Okay. So in this case, you need to use try something, and the exception will be 0 division error. If it is 0, then do something. Okay. Although it is a single comment in this example, it can be more generally be a larger block of indented code. So you can put many lines in try. If there is an error in that in particular line, then you can go to the exception. So following the try block are one or more except cases. It's with an identified error type and an indented block of code that should be executed if the designated error is raised within the try block. So this exception also can be multiple line. So this try also can be multiple line. So it depends. But let's say we have only the very simple example. Yeah, I will just have one line. Okay. So let's assume that I have A and B, A equals to 5 and B equals to 0. So I would like to calculate the ratio A divided by B, and I have the exception 0 division error. If it is error, then you will print 0, you divide the number with 0. If you run this, yeah, okay, you can see the result, you divide the number with 0. So there is no error message like this one, but it will show you the exception like this one. It means you don't stop your program. Your program will keep running, and you will just show the message so the user can know that, okay, I'm doing something wrong with the input. Then the user can revise the input, and then yeah, they can do something more. It will be different if you have this ratio with this one. So the ratio, if equals to 5 divided by 0, then it will goes to error, and the error message will appear division by 0. So this is about exception. Okay. If you want to know more, yeah, there are many other things about the exception. You can try to figure out more according to your final project. The next is the iterators. Okay. The iterators is similar with the for loop. Okay. If you are familiar with the for loop, then you know about the iterator. But the iterator is another way to iterate. Okay. So it allows to iterate the object, iterable object in a for loop like this one for element in iterable. So in iterator is an object that manages an iteration through a series of values. So if you have a series of values, then I will try to iterate. And okay, next I is the comment. So if I have variable I and I call next I, then it will go to the next one. It will go to the next one. Okay, until we have the stop iteration. So the stop iteration means this is the exception. If you don't exceed the number of elements, then you can continue. But if you already in the end of the element, then it will stop. An iterable is an object obj that produces an iterator via the syntax iter. Okay, so we'll check with the iter. Okay, let's see the iter. I have 1, 3, and 5 in the list. So I would like to make the iteration. So I is the iteration of C. Now, what I am going to do is to check one by one, and the variable I should be written in the next I, okay, 1, and the next I, 3, and the next I, 5. Okay. What about if you have another next I, then errors? Okay, the error message is stop iteration because you don't have the next element. You have only 1, 3, and 5. Then when you do another next I, it goes to error. Okay, so this is another way to iterate the elements in your list, for example. The next that you need to know is about generators. So the most convenient technique for creating iterators in Python is through the use of generators. Yeah, some people think that it is convenient, but maybe if it is not convenient for you, you can skip it. But I will explain a little bit about this. A generator is implemented with a syntax that is very similar to a function, but instead of returning values, so the yield statement is executed to indicate each element of the series. So we are not using return. If you still remember return, a return statement, you will put the value into one variable. But yield statement is only to put the result in the memory and it will not be printed. Yeah. I can show you the example with this one. Okay, so this factors. It is a function factors n, and then I have k in range 1 until n plus 1. Let's say if I have 10, then I would like to have a range from 1 until 10 plus 1. So it means from 1 until 10. Okay. If you remember range, if I have range 1 comma 10, it means I will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I have 1 until 11, then it means I have a number from 1 until 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And k is the iterable element. And I want to check if n modulo k equals to 0. So I want to know the factors, okay? I want to know if the numbers n it can be divided with any numbers from 1 until the numbers that you inserted. So this is the greatest common divisor. Okay? Now you can see when you call the factors with the n equals to 10, it's just generator object factors. So you don't know what is the result because it shows the result in the memory. It shows the result in your memory and it will reduce the consumption of your memory. And if you want to extract the result, you need to call the result with a kind of variable. Okay? If you have the variable v, you can just call factors 10 and then you do the loop. You can get the loop. Then, yeah, this is the result 1, 2, 5, 10. Okay? So, this is the result. If this one, then yield k. So, k will be saved into one in the memory, and this memory will appear when you call with the for loop or if you want to do with the iteration. Okay. The conditional expression. This conditional expression is kind of unique in Python, okay, because when you do with the computer programming, you usually do with something structure. Yeah. But in Python, the conditional expression, it can replace a simple control structure. What does it mean? Yeah. So this expression syntax can replace the simple control structure. Let's say if expression if condition else expression 2. It's very challenging, right? What does it mean? Let's see. If I want to know this one parameter n, if n is greater than equal 0, else minus n. Okay. I don't have this example, but let's see. Okay, I don't have this. Let's make it as n equals to 5. Okay, and I have the parameter equals, it will be equals to n if, oh sorry, I need to check this one. Okay, yeah, if n is greater than equal to 0, else minus n. So if n is greater equal to 0, then else it will be minus n. Okay, so you can print param. Yeah, the result is 5. What does it mean? Yeah, it means you will give the value n to the variable param when n is greater than or equal to 0. If n is less than or equal to 0, then you need to assign minus n to the param. Oops. Oh, something wrong. Ooh. Oh, I need to put else. Yeah, I need to put else already. Yeah. Oh, so strange. Should be not that one. Or this one is uh, hmm, hmm, something wrong. I don't know what happened with this one. Okay, I will check. I think I missed the space or something. Yeah, I guess something wrong with this one. I'm not sure with this one. Okay, let me check this one and I will get back to you later. Okay, maybe I need to put the parenthesis one. Okay, yeah. And if yeah. Okay, I'll go back to you later after this one. Okay. So in Python also, it will show you the comprehensive syntax. It means if you are making with the list, okay. So if you are making with the list, then you can also do with the very simple syntax that we already learned before. But yeah, yeah, we have the expression for value in iterable if condition. So this syntax will be the same with this one. Okay, I will go back to you with this one after I check with the previous example. Yeah. The other things that you can learn from this is about the packing. Okay. So the packing is a series of comma separated expression when you have a number of sequence and you want to put it into one number. Okay, so if you have this one data 2468, okay, what is it? Maybe you think that okay, this is a tuple. But why do you think it's a tuple? Why do you think not a list? Okay, So if you have 2, 4, 6, 8, if you run this one, then yes, it is automatically regarded as a tuple. How about if you are making the unpacking? Okay, if it is the a number like this one, then it is automated packing of a tuple. If it is another way, in the reverse way, Python can automatically unpack a sequence. It means if you have a number range from 7 until 11, and I want to put the numbers into some variables, let's assume that I have A, B, C, D, and I have the number of this 7, 8, 9, 10. So it will automatically unpack. Okay? So I have A, B, C, D, and I have the range from 7 until 11. Then if you print A, A, B, C, D, then you will get 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yeah. So this very basic function from the packing and unpacking, it is very uh, important when you have a lot of data and you want to make it as a sequence. So you don't need to make one by one. If you have the range, and then you can just make this variable, and yeah, the variable also can be easily combined with the string function. Yeah, but for now, just let me deal with this one. If you need more advanced technique, just let me know. And modules in Python, there are many modules, and when you are doing some mathematical stuff, you can use the import math. If you are doing with array, there is also another module now named NP array or NumPy. Yeah, there's another module array, and if you are dealing with date and time, there's also another module with time, and there's also another module with date. Yeah, it depends on what you're going to do. So you need to understand what module that you are going to use. And if you're using math, then you can just import math. If you're using array, you can import array, and so on. So those are some existing modules like array, collections, copy, heap queue, math, OS, random, RE, sys, and time. And there are many more, and it depends on the data structure itself. So some data structure like the heap, like this one, heap queue, it means the heap based priority queue. So you can use this as the function. You can just import it and then you can reuse it in your Python. But if you don't want to use this one and you want to develop your own code, then it's also fine. But of course, you need more efforts to make the code. Okay, I guess that's all. Yeah, I will go back to you with that example before. I don't know why, but I will continue with the next chapter, and I will just make a very simple. I will make a short video to explain about the previous example. Okay, thank you for listening. See you.